Hey, Donna, do you like cats?
Drippy little things, moving along about a foot above the ground.
Above? You mean on the ground?
Just dripping behind furniture. Little spring flowers, blue and them that come up first.
Yeah.
Before someone stomps on them and they're all gone.
Well, it doesn't matter what I think. I kind of have to tip my hat to any entity that could bring so much integrity to evil. I mean, imagine it's a seemingly voluntary privatized moonwalk just managed to make a middleman of public accountability and free will and wrapped up in a little bow and given to the public like a gift. I mean, come on, this is just awe-inspiring stuff. It's not the same, my friend. It's not the same thing. Donna has an aversion to bodily contact, and junkies lose their interest in sex, you realize, due to an organ swelling up from vasoconstriction. And I have observed in her an inordinate failure of sexual arousal, not just toward Bob Archer, but other males as well.
I can't believe she doesn't put out.
Well, she would. If she were handled right. If she were handled right. If she were handled right.
That fucking Barris. You know how he works? He doesn't kill anybody, but he hangs around until the situation arises where they die. And then he just sits there. And he sort of sets them up in the first place while he stays out of it. I'm not sure how.
You know, I don't like Barris. I don't trust him. Guy's fucking crazy. When you're around him, you start acting crazy. And then when you're not around him, you're fine.
What happened? How'd I get here?
Okay, it's your move now.
Anyone want some popcorn? Now in the dark world where I dwell, ugly things and surprising things and Sometimes little wondrous things spill out at me constantly, and I can count on nothing.
You show what we regard more as competition phenomenon than impairment.
Yeah?
Competition between the left and the right hemispheres of your brain. It's like you have two signals that interfere with each other by carrying conflicting information.
So what does all this mean?
Well, I'm sure you know already. You've been experiencing it without knowing why or what it is.
The two hemispheres of my brain are competing?
Yes.
Now that you're sitting comfortably, I shall begin. My initial approach was far too narrow. When Blackwood invited me to Pentonville Prison, he suggested I widen my gaze, and at minimum I have done just that. In fact, I may well have reconciled thousands of years of theological disparity. But that's for another time. Blackwood's method is based on a ritualistic, mystical system that's been employed by the Temple of the Four Orders for centuries. To fully understand the system, to get inside it, I reenacted the ceremony we interrupted at the crypt, with a few enhancements of my own. My journey took me somewhat further down the rabbit hole than I had intended, and though I dirtied my fluffy white tail, I've emerged enlightened. The fraternity, who silently control the empire, share the belief with the kings, pharaohs, and emperors of old that the Sphinx was a door to another dimension, a gateway to immeasurable power. It's made up of 4 parts: the foot of a lion, the tail of an ox, the wings of an eagle, and the head of a man. In Sir Thomas's secret chamber, I found the bone of an ox, the tooth of a lion, the feather of an eagle, and the hair of a man. Map. The points of the star represent the 5 murdered girls, but the cross is what we're now interested in. It's a widely held belief that within the architecture of the great cities are coded references to the system. I, using musical theory, have created order out of chaos.
feels.
It's only after we've lost everything we're free to do anything. Congratulations. You're one step closer to hitting bottom.
But are you?
Well, gentlemen, someone has to stop him, even if you won't.
I wouldn't do that if I were you. Gentlemen, don't be afraid. As you can see, we are protected. Come, drink your allegiance here. You control the police. Now use them.